Hello everybody, welcome back to the Nibiru channel. It is March 12th, 2017, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the earthquake activity around the world. So as we were looking at this earthquake data for the period of the last 7 days, you can clearly see the west coast of the United States is getting hit pretty hard relating to the earthquake activity. However, there haven't been any large earthquakes that would create devastating destruction. In all actuality, there haven't been any devastating earthquakes across the globe. But that does not mean that something is not looming. But just taking a look at all of the earthquake activity, specifically in the Ring of Fire over the past 7 days, earthquake activity here on the west coast of the United States, earthquake activity along the west coast of South America, and also leading into Europe and Eastern Europe. There seems to be a pattern of this activity. So how much longer are we going to have to wait till there is a very large catastrophic earthquake or several earthquakes that occur simultaneously across the globe? Now, we were looking at other earthquake activity in different avenues, different websites, and trying to compound all of the information. Now, what you're looking at here is the live earthquake map. And we just had an earthquake 18 minutes ago below a magnitude 3 right there in California, Southern California. Another smaller one, but looking into what's going on in Mexico, South America, these earthquakes are getting potentially larger. This 5.6 in the Fiji Islands 5 hours ago was very alarming. I actually have a few subscribers in the Fiji Islands that did send in some emails, and they did state that the earthquake did shake their island and everyone felt it. So moving on over into the Ring of Fire, you can clearly see there are very specific patterns of the earthquakes that are occurring. Now, the majority of them are not over a magnitude 5. They're all ranging in the low 4s to the high 4s as far as magnitude. However, these are creating patterns, and sooner or later, the earthquake, the major earthquake, is probably going to hit. Now, looking at Europe, Europe's been relatively quiet. Looking at what's going on in Spain, I mean, these are kind of rare earthquakes, a 3.0 and another 3.0 on the southern coastline of Spain. It's just kind of alarming because these really are not earthquake zones where you would see this type of activity. And one thing we constantly take a look at is the coronal holes on the sun, because there is a direct connection between the activity on the sun and what occurs as far as earthquakes on our planet. As you can see at the very top, there is still a very, very large coronal hole opening. It has split towards the equator of the sun and kind of wrapping around, as you can see the dark area here. There is still a very large coronal hole at the bottom of the sun, and I've spoke about this before. And this coronal hole at the bottom of the sun, it has constantly been there for a long time now, at least during a period of 9 months. One article that was very alarming, I was reading this yesterday, and this is once again dealing with the state of California. This article was in the Sign of Times. Scientists say a 7.4 earthquake would cause ruptures from Los Angeles all the way to San Diego. Now, the article goes further to talk about a new study, and that study showed that it was possible for a 7.4 magnitude earthquake to affect an area as wide as Los Angeles to San Diego. Now, the Long Beach earthquake of 1933 had a magnitude of 6.4 and it killed 120 people. But a 7.4 would be 30 times as powerful. And ladies and gentlemen, again, with today's technology, Los Angeles is a very big city, very tall buildings. You know, you want to assume that the architecture can withstand some of these powerful earthquakes. But we'll never know until that day comes. Now, this study goes on, and I'll leave a link to this information, but they are starting to find that some of these fault lines that they've never seen or discovered before, they're actually discovering more fault lines in very, very critical very critical areas. So the bottom line is we're going to have to keep a very close eye on what is happening around the world as far as earthquake activity. And, you know, just panning up in this article, there was a 5.6 magnitude earthquake that occurred, I believe this was yesterday morning, in the Kermadec Islands, northeast of New Zealand. And New Zealand has been getting hit constantly with small earthquakes, magnitude 4, magnitude 5, but they've been getting hit with a lot of them. And this type of activity will create a very unstable situation. And with that unstable situation, a larger earthquake will then potentially do much, much more damage. So once again, we're going to stay on top of all of the earthquake activity around the globe. And like I've always said before, make sure that if you live in any of these earthquake areas, make sure you have yourself a preparedness plan. It doesn't hurt to be prepared. We've all seen what happened during the Oroville, California situation. A lot of these people were not prepared for any type of disaster. They were not prepared for any type of evacuation. And that situation in Oroville is about to hit a critical stage once again. A very, very severe situation with high temperatures and snow melt. And that's going to be occurring over the next few days. So we're also going to be keeping our eye on that. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, just make sure that you are prepared and you're paying attention to what's going on around you. So ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you stay informed, stay updated, and most definitely stay tuned. Please don't forget to subscribe to the Nibiru channel for all of your updates. And once again, thank you for watching.